supporting these, right? So you can always watch these back, okay? So we're, again, looks like we're forming a range right now on polarity, right? So have absorption here, we kind of rejected that. Selling price divergence, price delta divergence here, bounce back up, right? I'm gonna just move this down to this absorption. So again, as I was kind of saying, it looked like a trend open, but if you gave it a minute, now it kind of looks like potential for chop this morning. We have to be careful from all that news. So, and again, looking at the chart, we wanted to break below here for big selling, right? We never did that. We're bouncing off. Change it to a 1 minute chart. So keep an eye on those. Buying is definitely stronger than the sellers right now for sure. Pretty good delta. But nothing's crazy strong, so don't start thinking of like a strong trend yet. You can see these light blue. These are smaller orders. Okay, the darker areas are going to be the bigger ones. We got a 500 lot bid at 4185. That could be pushing the market up, holding it up, right? This white line's VWAP, so remember that. Could be selling around here. We break through it, could be leading to an uptrend. Right around that reverse RSI point as well on polarity here. Pretty big volume. If we zoom in, pretty big volume on that bubble. You get, for those of you again that don't use Bookmap, green bubbles are buy orders, red bubbles are sell orders. The bigger the bubble, the bigger the order basically. And the faster that these bubbles form, the stronger the trend. So if we see like 5 or 10 green bubbles that just shoot straight up basically, that's a good sign for an uptrend. Vice versa for downtrend, right? Again, no huge orders coming in. Definitely bigger size for buy orders and sellers. That's a pretty big absorption at the top of this candle too on polarity. You can see 900. I feel like you don't see that too often, honestly. I'm gonna chart that out. Usually it's lower numbers of absorption up here, right? That's pretty decent size. Really watching the 4185 area. Still heavy buying delta, positive delta on this candle. But we are moving down. We'll have to see how it closes here. I'm not rushing into anything. Not rushing into arming. But again, it looks like a trend open, but now it looked like it was leaning more towards chop after that, so. A lot of sellers just came in there. Not huge sellers, but a good amount of them. Just watching the book. Yeah, so these are not that big of orders. I mean, these bubbles are pretty small, which means there's just not a lot of momentum at the moment. I think you'll see when news comes out that these can get pretty crazy. So again, price delta divergence definitely leading regression, right? As I said, it looked like a trend open. Then if you watch this candle, the first candle, it looked like regression, right? So regression would have flipped here. Definitely in a range right now. This price delta divergence, this price delta divergence, right? That's what it looks like to me. And remember, when using polarity, I mean, if you do everything perfect, you still only are going to win like 70, 75% of the time. Just remember that. Can't really see anything much with the pointing controls, but if you're looking here, so pointing control down towards this absorption, so a lot of volume down here that lines up with our 4185 level, right? So if we do get a breakthrough here with heavy selling, probably going to be a little bit of momentum from the volume that's down here, right? And up here you can see got a little thinner up top, could mean the buyers are exhausted up there, right? You can see right here too, this price level, buyers a little exhausted it seems. And this point of control right on open, right in the middle of this zone, which was kind of an indicator of regression. You can see we're just building volume at these 4185 areas right here. Nothing huge is happening though. Nothing huge. Most likely we're just waiting for that news, remember? So again, we got the PMI news in 7 minutes here. Red folder news. Gonna be watching out for that. And if you look at this column here on Bookmap, I have just put some little keywords. So 2-hour demand zone starts right here. We break below this level, then we look to target down here, somewhere around here, okay? You just wanted to keep an eye on that yourself as well. Yeah, these orders are all relatively small. Once we see like a 3, 4, 500 lot size over here, I'll be interested in what happens, but so I definitely was right about a slow morning. Definitely in a range. Definitely slow this morning because of the news, right? Because of the news. These are pretty, I mean, pretty boring so far. Again, price is moving up right now, and there's just, I mean, delta is still negative. Not really how it should be in a trending market. A little bit more size adding in on this 4185 level. It's going to be a key area to watch. Check NQ out. What's NQ doing? NQ's same kind of thing. It looks like it's moving more. I mean, it is moving more, but like nothing crazy. It's kind of in a range up here. Little rally off open, little range. That's the same kind of thing, right? It's just a little bit extended looking. Yeah, we're not trading NQ. If you try trading NQ with polarity, it's crazy fast, right? So be careful with that. Again, we're basically just waiting for the news to come out, and we're gonna see maybe the order book thin out. So you're gonna see some of these orders that are passively up here, limit orders, right? These are gonna probably exit out of the order book, and they're just waiting for the news. Okay, you might see that happen like 30 seconds before the news comes out, which is common just for the book to thin a little bit. But we'll see like what happens if this level gets touched, or we break through that 4185 level. That's just a pretty key area for me. You can also see bigger picture. I mean, that's definitely the most key area of the morning, as well as down here 4177. Above us, probably 4200 is going to be the biggest level, psychological level, right? And it's just mainly just a psychological level, whole number, 100 level. Definitely. Okay, so price delta correlated on that last candle. Still in a range though. We've had 2 price delta divergences since open, so basically 50% of the candles since open have been not correlated, right? Leading to regression. To be safe, I would say to disarm and wait for the news to come out. That's just what I would do. If you did want to, though, you could arm it and trend both on the news, and be expecting like a quick move in a direction, but usually the adversary detection on it makes it so you don't necessarily get in on the news right away. Obviously, sometimes that's not how it works, but just be careful with it. No need to burn an account. You can always come back tomorrow. Like yesterday was a really easy morning, right? Put it in trend mode, like we said yesterday. Just throw it in trend mode, let it sit basically all morning, and it worked out. So news comes out in about 25 seconds. You can see the book's kind of thinning out, if you see here. Not tons and tons of orders anymore. Pretty interesting how that works, isn't it? There's still 4185, still a key level. But look at this, the book's really thinning out. Not a lot of orders sitting, because they don't want to get hit in the news, right? They want to let the news happen, see what happens. All right, so here's the news. Watch time and sales, watch how big these bubbles are. You can see some orders at 4195, 494. Still a lot of orders at 4185, obviously. Nothing really happening, yeah. Have to give it a minute. People might want to read that news, obviously. So it looks like, take a look here. PMI red, right? So this is the actual, this is the forecasted. Red's bad, green's good, right? So a little mix there. So we'll see what happens. So derived zone just formed on polarity there. Still no huge orders coming in. Big bubble, but it's nothing big, nothing like that big. And there's no momentum to the upside, so just makes it hard. That is as I said yesterday, when you get candles like this, where it's like a long wick with a little body at the top, that seems to indicate to me a trend starting, okay? And delta's starting to recorrelate itself. We have a derived zone, so watch for a bigger move here. can see the book is starting to get a little thicker. People starting to add their orders back in right here. A lot of limit orders waiting here. Again, these can be, you know, buy stops. They can be sell limits, you know, anything like that. Anything sitting above current price. We also do have news coming out again in 13 minutes, so price could just chop around all morning. Just really have to see. But there's been no big orders coming in. Nothing looks really good. There's not even like a clearly defined range on Bookmap or anything. Or on Polarity here. Good delta on that last candle, but that was also the candle that news came out on that first minute. Pretty boring here. It looks like maybe this can kind of be a range, right? That was kind of what we were ranging in all morning so far. Let's see, resistance here kind of broke out, pulled back, right? It's just a different way to visualize it. Same kind of thing as this absorption zone basically up top. Looks like we're gonna be chopping around this derived zone to me. Just there's no strong buying going on. At least not yet. And with news coming out in 10 minutes again, could just be chopping through this derived zone. Unless we see some giant orders come in. But this is nothing crazy right here. This is just a slow move up. Buyers are a little heavier than the sellers, obviously. Tends to move up. Every move up gets hit with some selling. So it's not like a great trend, but pretty good delta again. 2400 positive delta on that last candle. Still correlated. So have absorption at the bottom of that candle, so I'm marking that out as well. So here's kind of what my chart's looking like right now. I have this absorption here, drive zone, point of controls in that drive zone, and when we did move down, volume was thinner. Kind of indicates to me sellers not as present. Buyers are still heavy. That's kind of what it indicates to me. More of the volumes towards the middle or top end. Haven't seen any giant orders this morning, which is interesting. Nice move up. I hope you guys would have switched out of regression once we saw basically, I mean, on the news I said, right? Switch to trend for the beginning of the news. Because usually it forms some sort of break. And then a few minutes after, maybe switch to regression if it looks like it. But again, trend on the red folder news works pretty good. You can see Still here, target there, right? Price delta's correlated perfect since the move, so it's just not a very convincing like upward move. That's all. $4,200 is loading up some more orders, so just keep an eye out for 4,200 and 4185. Although we're closer to 4,200, so. Mini derived zone. A little absorption right there that formed. Single, right? New feature of Analytica chart. Price delta is still correlated nicely, right? That's perfect. Negative delta around this derived zone now, bouncing through around the derived zone. Kind of a boring morning. That news really screws up the mornings. If you're trading NQ, it's probably not that boring. Still ranging. I mean, you get a lot more trades with NQ, but NQ is just very hard to read, so. See if there's any. So taking a look at the chart here, one thing you notice, it's kind of a 5-minute fair value gap right here. Kind of rejected that, right? See if there's anything else. Also like a 15-minute fair value gap here, right? See how, I mean, it's interesting how the body did not break above, right? We wicked above, body did not. So watch this area, right? 4195, 4196, the small area. That's similar to the absorption that was marked here. Nice triple stack. Price delta still correlated nice. There's the big orders from the morning. I was saying watch if anything is above like 300-ish, 350, right? So we have a 500 lot buy and a 260 lot buy. Now, does that mean people are buying and going long? Not necessarily. It could mean, you know, a short is covering their position, buying that back. So, but, you know, we take it how it is. Is a big buy order that just happened. Definitely easier to trade yesterday morning. I mean, you could tell with Bookmap yesterday morning too. It was a lot easier to trade. We'll see how this news comes out in a few minutes, and then probably just call it a day. A lot of news today really screws up the mornings, but we have new home sales at 10, and then that's basically it for the day. Besides, like late tonight. So. So absorption at the top of this candle. Thrive zone here, kind of chopping in between here, right? Price delta is correlated, which makes it tricky. But let's see. Yeah. Rejected absorption. I just marked that absorption, but let's see anything else. That's really it. So we're just mostly likely going to be chopping until the news here, and then again, it's orange folder news, so that's not as severe. If you would play it, I think trend is smart. It's also smarter to probably just not not trade the news. Big sells, look at that, 750, 100, 100, 107, 90, 100. Big delta flip there too. Well, it's still correlated, but see if the book thins out again before the news. That was some pretty heavy selling, though. We haven't really seen that much selling this morning. I mean, that's the biggest volume of the day right here, right? Okay, so news comes out in 1 minute exactly. We'll see if book thins out at all. Tricky morning to trade polarity here. Looks like it might have been a trend open. But that first candle of the morning kind of gave it away to be a regression at the start. And then once that news came out, the trend mode would have been perfect so far. So there's news. See what happens here. Big jump, big buy. Delta divergence, right? Absorption up here, right? This area. You can see we wicked into this for value gap as well. Rejected that for now. That's interesting. So what did we hit? 4198.5. Okay. Nothing huge. Still boring. Give it a few more minutes for you guys and see what happens. But the absorption at the top of that previous candle with the positive delta. Obviously, news came out, makes it hard. We were right about it chopping around the derived zone. So we definitely chopped around the derived zone, rejected this absorption again up here. Right, you can see that all here. I said once this derived zone formed, we might start chopping around the area. Definitely chopped around the area. This rejected the absorption up here. We can kind of extend this if we want. All right, so this is the new range. So for downtrend, we want to see a big break, strong delta through here for potential trend flip. Vice versa further up top, right? but Bookmap is just telling me not to trade personally. Not to trade the rest of the morning here. All these bubbles are really small. You see that here, right? Nothing super trendy. Ideally, we'd see like 5, 6, 7 giant green bubbles go straight up, right? And that indicate an uptrend. These are all relatively small, besides like a random bubble or two. There's no follow through. No follow through. Take another big picture look. Yeah, same areas. 4,200, 4,185, 4,177. Looks like we're just gonna chop around this derived zone. So we'll have to see. Extend that a little bit. So you can see this is kind of the range we've been at here, right? I think for me, I'm just gonna call it a morning. There's just not too much going on. Again, to review here, we saw, looked like price and delta were pretty correlated in the open here, or in pre-market, right? So I was thinking potential trend mode open. But also with the news coming out, I said might be choppy this morning, right? So we saw this price delta divergence right away, which kind of led to me thinking regression, right? And then we ended up chopping between these range, right? And then I told you guys trend flip, trend mode switch on the news was going to be smart, right? So this was the first candle for that news. Derived zone formed, price deltas correlated, moved up. What was that, about 7 points, 6, 7 points? Rejected absorption up here. Well, I think we actually marked this out. This was absorption formed. And then once this derived zone formed, I did mention we might be chopping around this zone, right? So regression up here in this area, obviously smart price delta divergence here, price delta divergence here. Right now, I think regression would be smarter choice, obviously, unless we break out of this derived zone, or yeah, we really need to see strong delta. But Bookmap, just a lot of small orders this morning. Nothing crazy happening. Looks like we're moving down a little bit right now. So move down. Delta's still a little bit higher with the buyers. It has 11 positive delta for me. Obviously, you guys might have some different deltas if you're using a different data feed, but I think that's all for the morning, guys. So I'll be back at it tomorrow. If you guys do like the live stream, just put something in the testimonials for me. If you have any tips or advice for the Discord, any improvements, you can just DM me. I'm open to suggestions. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the morning. So I'll be back at it tomorrow. See you guys.